And welcome everyone to another live stream repair. We've got a different streaming PC that we're attempting to use now, so hopefully we've got a better live stream going for us today. We've also got a somewhat different kind of repair for us today. Someone sent in just their amp board. They had attempted to fix the no power issue from a shorted diode themselves, and they ended up accidentally knocking a few components around and losing them. So we had them send the amp board in for us to take a look and possibly get it all fixed up. So I've actually got quite the stash of broken amp boards from my various repairs. Some of these have been just destroyed through me trying to figure out various issues and their causes over time. But we've got plenty of parts here to pick from and hopefully get theirs working again. Now, if we take a look, let's go ahead and grab our up close camera and take a closer look at what's going on here. So we're looking again at the amplifier board here, and here is normally where our diode, well actually let me grab a totally good board here so we can do a little bit of a comparison. So it looks like we will need a new step down converter, new capacitor here. I think those are capacitors in here. And we will need the new capacitor right here. Fortunately, it looks like nothing over here was taken out. We've got these still there. Right. Okay, so it looks like we just need to replace this cap, the diode here, of course, the two small caps here, this cap here, our step down, and we should be good to go. There might be some stuff missing right here too, actually, it seems. We'll take a closer look. No, actually. Yeah, everything over here is still good. Doesn't show up as well on the camera as it looks in person, but okay. So first, what we'll do is let's just get a bunch of flux on here, and we're just going to clean up all of this mess here. We're just going to hit all of this with our iron, clean up all of this old solder, and get an idea from there what we'll do next. Probably start putting new components on by pulling them off of some of our parts boards. Okay, got plenty of flux on there. Should warm up my iron. Get our ventilation out. Gotta wait for that iron to warm up here. And we're starting by those pads for the step-down converter. Get those pads for the small capacitor next to the diode. Try to clean this up. Yeah, this doesn't look too bad, honestly. Let's get some wick up here and try to clean all this old stuff off now. Uh-oh. Come on up. There we go. Alright. Let's get that cleaned out. Okay. Let's clean this off. So what's the verdict here? Do we have a savable board? Well, we've got no apparent damage to any pads, and not too much to really replace on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. This cap, these two caps, this diode, this cap, this step-down converter. 5 different components. That should be doable. Let's see here. Let's get our first donor board up here. This one, I attempted to replace the DAC when I was originally trying to diagnose some DC offset issues. This is before I figured out where the DC offset was actually coming from, but on this one I had attempted to fix it by replacing the DAC, and that was a complete failure, so this one turned into a parts board. Let's grab the step-down converter from that first. And actually, let's go ahead and prep the pads for the step-down converter on here. Or do we want to try to do the super small stuff first? I think... yeah, see, that stuff's not even that small, so... Alright, well, let's just start pulling parts and swapping them. Let's grab the step-down converter right here. Cool. Let's grab that cap while we've got all this warmed up. Let's grab that smaller cap next to the diode. And last but not least, let's grab those 2 teeny tiny ones above the diode. Dang, did I lose one of those 2 on my parts board already? Alright. Break another one out, that's okay. Here's another one that we can pull some parts from. There we go. We've got ourselves a full set of parts. Let's go on ahead and get some flux on here. Try to put some solder on these pads before we start popping new components on. Okay, we got all these pads tinned up. Let's start dropping new components in. Here's the tough part. Breaking out the fresh tweezers for this one. Oh no. Oh, here we go. Alright, to make this easier, let's just go ahead and take this coil off. And that should give us some better access to those tiny caps here. You can't see anything I'm doing on the camera, but that's okay. Well, I'm not sure if I have a chance of fixing it either, but I'm willing to try. we get those two tiny caps on there. We got one of them on there, the other one does not want to cooperate. Boy, this is tough just getting this darn thing to not stick to my tweezers. Oh, did we get that lined up? Let's try to drop it in. Yeah, the camera doesn't even pick up how small some of these ones are. Alright, considering the fact that it straightened itself out, I'm going to assume that that other small cap went on there nice and straight up. So we are currently trying to put these two back on. These are the hardest ones and the smallest ones on the board. So we just want to start with those first, and then we'll work our way up to the easier parts. I think that's cool enough. Yep, those are on there. Awesome. Let's get the capacitor that's to the left of that power diode installed now. That's going to be this guy right here. Looks like it's going to want a little more solder. Okay, let's give that a try. You see that? You see it jump into place? Makes our job a lot easier. Okay. Hardest parts are done. Should be pretty smooth sailing from here. Let's get some of that excess solder off the diode pad here. Let's get our step-down converter installed. That's going to be this over here with all these pads. Had to move that out of the way, so we'll put that back in. Alright, let's get this big cap in. Get our inductor back on. Yeah, no, it's okay if it's not aligned yet. I'm just trying to get everything generally placed because I'm going to inevitably bump things around. Like, for example, I bumped one of the two tiny capacitors, so we basically have to... Gotta take this back off. Take this back off. There we go. Got really lucky on that one. It just went right back into place. All right. I'm going to take away the top down or the close-up camera and switch this because I just cannot see what I'm doing with this this in the way. That's much better. Hot, hot, hot. Ooh, so hot. Okay, we've got 2 more components to go, and then we'll make sure everything's nice and lined up. Let's get this lined back up. There we go. We're gonna go back onto this step down transformer, and we're gonna touch all those legs up with a soldering iron too, just to make sure that that gets a nice and solid connection. But we got that all straightened out. Last but certainly not least, let's grab a new Schottky barrier diode from our parts. Get this. Now, Solomon, just to confirm, I can't remember if I asked you in the email or not, but you were trying to fix the no power issue on this, right? That's why the stuff around the diode's missing. You weren't. It was just having like no power issues. Well, we're gonna check it for DC offset after we get it powered on too, just to be comprehensive. But okay, cool. Old diode was shorted, yeah. So if the old diode being shorted was the only thing originally wrong with it, then hopefully once we get this new diode on here, we will be able to power this on. And we'll see if all of this work was in vain or not. Okay, just getting that diode lined up before I heat it down into place. Okay, last but not least, let's just go hit the legs on this step-down transformer with our iron. Okay. We've hit all of the legs on that step-down transformer. We're just doing a quick visual inspection. I'll go ahead and pull up the up-close camera now that we're done, and you can take a look here at what we've got. Honestly, I'm kind of impressed with myself here. Save for cleaning up this flux, which we don't need to get all of it out of here. We just need to make it kind of presentable. So, where's a pointing stick? Give me a pointing stick. Here we go. We got this new step-down transformer on here. Touched up all those legs. It's nice and square. We got this big capacitor here back on. We got the two smaller caps down here back on. We got the cap in between the step-down and the Schottky diode put back on. And of course we got a new Schottky barrier diode put back on. While we were replacing the step-down transformer, this stuff up here started to move around, so we had to rearrange that back together. And then we also moved this coil out of the way to give ourselves room to put these smaller caps back on, but that was no big deal to put back on. But if you ask me, considering what was missing and what we've got now, that is some pretty good stuff. Well, it doesn't really matter if it doesn't work, right? So let's go on ahead and let me see. Let's clean this off really quick. Got a lot of flux on here, as one would expect. Yeah, it doesn't need to be that clean just to test, so let's get a test power supply. All they sent was the amp board, so we're gonna throw all of our test parts onto this amp. Let's get a power supply and put some screws in that so it doesn't pop out on us. Let's also get the fan out of the way so we can hear ourselves think again. Okay, before we actually do this, we're just going to do one final idiot check. Let's just go all around the board for a quick visual inspection, make sure there's no major problems, no obvious damage, that we didn't bump anything off, forget anything, short anything out. Nope, it all looks pretty good. So yeah, no, this Chip Quick, this Chip Quick NC191, this is currently my favorite shiz. So, and I've also got this Chip Quick NC191 LT15. I typically use this solder paste for replacing the amp IC chip, because this melts at somewhere around like 200 degrees, really super low, so I don't have to blast my amp with a ton of heat to replace and reflow them. Pretty much everything else I don't care too much. They're not audio, they're not the main audio components necessarily. They're just mostly power delivery and protection, so it doesn't really matter so much. But the audio amplifier, I like to use this low temp solder paste. Okay. Let's get some logic connected here. We're going to get our logic board. We've got one here already set up and ready for testing. Let's get a woofer, plug that in, and then we're going to grab our power leads. Let's unplug that from the wall first before we plug this into the board. All right. What do you think's gonna happen? You think it's gonna work? You think we did it? I'm honestly, I'm gonna give it like a 60-40% chance, and that's a 60% chance that it doesn't work, and like a 40% chance that this does work. But let's find out. Oh, you know what? I want to put some glasses on before I plug this in just in case. Let me grab some safety glasses. Okay, we are protected. Let's connect this to power, and oh, you know what else? I don't want to use a good logic board for this, just to see if it powers on yet. Before that, I'm gonna grab I have a bricked logic board that would be perfect for this. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I've got a logic board that boots up the flashing volume buttons. And if this amp board takes out a logic board, I don't care if it takes out one that's bricked. I do care if it takes out one that works just fine, because working logic boards are very far and few. All right. Drum roll, please. Oh my goodness. It powers on. Okay, so now that we know that it's not going to annihilate any logic board that we connect to it, let's unplug this, get this bricked board out of the way, and connect a good board. And we'll check really quick that we've got sound. All right, booting up. I don't smell anything burning. I don't feel any heat coming off of anything. I'm not gonna touch it. I'm a little nervous about that, but wow. All right, it's booted up. I heard the prompt sound. Let me grab my phone here and play some music. Oh, I wonder if we've got any DC offset. Let's turn our multimeter on. Huh. Go figure. Alright, we've got no DC offset. We've only got 3 to 4 millivolts. That's entirely acceptable. So, looks like for us, we won't have to do any more repairs on this. It's just just that rebuild. We don't have to go back in there and replace those capacitors responsible for DC offset. We just got what we got. Let me get some music on here just to make sure. This board I call Tortured Soul. We'll get that connected. And yeah, look at that. Oh, I see. I found the bag here of parts that you did get. Yes, these will actually be helpful. Because I took that step-down transformer from another parts board, so that'll help. I mean, you can buy new ones, but used ones I'm slightly interested in. I'll rebuild old boards and see what exactly is causing some of these failures. But yeah, I'm as excited as you are that this is working. I almost can't believe that I got all that replaced. I think I figured out a good technique for getting those super tiny capacitors back on. So put some flux down, and then that'll help kind of stick the capacitor onto the board while you push it around with your tweezers and line it up. And once you get it lined up, you can hit it straight top down with your heat, not at an angle, so that way it doesn't blow away to the side. And that should allow it to flow into place. And then once it cools down, I like to hit it with a little more flux, and then hit it one more time with the hot air just to make sure that it's nice and solid on there. And then once it cools down, just go in there with your tweezers and gently poke it a little bit just to make sure that it's not loose, that it's nice and firm on that board. Don't go and start stabbing it, but make sure that it's actually attached to your board, and you can call it. So that's all that we had come in today for repair. Kind of glad that is all that showed up today, because that took a lot for a first time I've ever done anything like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have any questions about any of the repairs that you've seen or anything that I did today, feel free to drop them in the comments. Yes, 100% surface tension of the gel flux. The surface tension, it works. It's like a little cheat code. I love it. Like before I did HomePod repairs long before, but when all I had was a soldering iron and that was it. I had no idea what flux was. I never used it, and I thought soldering was usually like a pain in the ass. But I discovered flux, and flux is like that magic trick. Flux is just magic. But this Chipquik NC191, this is my go-to stuff, at least for now. So they had some this browner clear color Chipquik stuff that I accidentally got once. Yeah, here it is. This SMD291NL. I didn't really like this stuff. It doesn't seem to work too much with my solder. I don't know, maybe I'm just bad, but this stuff worked really well. Alright, anyways, I'm gonna get out of here. You guys get on out of here, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Goodbye.